What's up, guys? Young Bucks, Old Goats episode. We're on episode 85. I got the bum with me on the drums. The bum is on the drums. What's up, bum?
Hey, man. How are you?
Doing pretty good, dude. Doing double duty.
There. You did a great job there.
Thank you. I had a fun guest. Check it out. Not right now because you're watching this right now. But when you finish watching this, go watch episode 84 with Morticia the Mortician. Had a good time. Learned about some of the funeral director duties and what that's all about. What'd you think, man? You saw the show, right?
Yeah, I did. I even posted a question there because I saw that she had like the Egyptian thing and in the background like a parchment kind of poster type thing. And I've always read and heard about Egyptians being the original embalmers, and actually their embalming techniques are super advanced. I mean, you look at some of those mummies that come out and they're like super preserved, keeping in mind that they're hundreds of years old. And they barely had any no technology, really. And, I figured maybe there was a tie-in. It sounded like there was. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. I don't know how I feel about following like a show about dead people, but, maybe that's kind of where I fall into here with the NFL free agency and some of the things we're going to talk about, right?
When she talked about preparing for death and all that stuff, I kind of thought about you. You're probably a guy that should be getting into that,
I may have a couple of pieces of land reserved for that moment already. Vivian's quite the planner, so.
Oh, do you? You already have that? Or you're joking?
I think that's probably the only thing we don't have planned. So.
That might be the only thing Vivian has not planned. Yeah. It's actually, all jokes aside, not a bad idea.
No, it's an unfortunate conversation. Not anything you're going to gather people together and motivate them on, but it is certainly something that's important to do. Like so many other things that you have to like kind of do to have your life in order, right?
Absolutely. I'm leaving you in charge of my wishes since you're the biggest bum. And I want I
already heard some of that.
You may not fucking be around now that I'm thinking of it.
Now that you think of it, right?
Yeah.
But you did ask all the right questions. Can I have a bar? Can I have a party?
I thought she was going to say no.
No, yeah. I think basically, if you could pay for it,
you can have it.
You can have it. So
you can have strippers if you want.
Probably so. I don't know how the rest of the family is going to adjust to that, but.
My funeral, bro.
You got it, man. Hey, we'll see. Hopefully, we'll live very to the age of very old and gray, but we'll see, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a fun episode. I'd love to have her back one day, maybe when we do the Halloween extravaganza that I have planned. I want to have her back. I want to have Ben back. I think that would be an interesting combo and whatever else.
That would be a very good lineup. Ben was great. I think she was kind of low key, but that's probably the kind of personality you need to do that job, right? I mean, you're not going to get like, yeah, let's go with Bob. You probably need a very kind of, yes, this is what I do. Very methodical, very sensitive, and kind of soft-spoken. So, yeah, it makes sense,
Yeah, I would say the best funeral director person is one that, like, you don't even notice them.
Yes.
So nothing is missing, nothing is out of place, and you don't even have to ask. It's kind of like the perfect waiter, right? He just comes, takes your order. They bring your sauce. They bring, your drinks almost, like kind of that, nothing's missing, and you don't really want
to tie it into our our NFL thing. It's like offensive linemen. When you don't know that they're there, they're doing their job. As soon as they start calling their name, it's bad, right?
Right. That means they got a penalty or gave up a sack or whatever. Yeah, absolutely the same scenario, I would say. All right, but we're here to loosely talk about some NFL free agency stuff. I got a couple other things on the docket before we get in hardcore into transactions and things like that.
Fire away.
As we do sometimes, just things in general. R.I.P. Elgin Baylor.
Yes.
He's passed away since the last episode, one of the all-time greats there in NBA basketball.
Was that one of the guys that was he close to averaging like a triple-double? Is that one of those guys that I always get that confused? I know there was a couple guys that were close to that level of almost averaging like a triple-double a game or something crazy like that. I thought he was one of those guys, and a lot of people consider him one of the most underrated great players of all time.
Well, off the top of my head, I am not sure. I know Oscar Robertson was a kind of guy, but let's just take a look at the numbers while we're talking about it. Elgin Baylor, small forward, at 6'5", which probably would be a guard nowadays.
Yeah.
Definitely double-digit points.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the triple-double piece there.
But definitely a big rebounder. Look at some of these rebounding numbers. Always
at a small forward, I guess. I guess that meant he was really athletic, right? At 6'5".
Yeah, I mean every year he averaged double digits rebounds except for 3, and 2 of those 3 were his last years when he was up there in age. Not getting there on the assists, but he's dishing out like maybe 4 assists a game. But dude, averaged 27 points a game in his career.
Yeah.
So definitely all-time great.
And I think the leagues at the time then weren't very high scoring, right? They were more defensive, half court, right?
Yes, and you had I hate to say it, you had a lot of slow white guys too. Out there. No disrespect. Elgin Baylor's one of the greatest of all time. I can definitely say that. What else?
What else you got?
This is more like a personal story to you, but do you care to share? It was a major event in your life this week.
You're talking about my vaccination.
Yeah, I mean, I know they've opened that up to elderly people first, so that's why you snuck in there. I don't have that.
It's finally one of the advantages of being an old bastard is I'm actually skipping some people in the line. Yes, so it's a quick turnaround, and I gotta say, probably a shout out to our great governor, which a lot of people will probably hate me for saying that, but I think as soon as I heard that they lowered the age, I think I went on the website Sunday and signed up for the vaccination, and they called me for Thursday, man.
And what is the website?
It's myvaccine.com, I believe.
Okay.
There's a couple of them. There's myvaccine.com. There's Florida something vaccine.com. There's a couple of different ones. There's like a national one and then one in the state. But bottom line is, as soon as I heard they lowered the age to 50, I went out there. I signed up like over the weekend, and by Thursday, I got a shot in the arm, and I was in and out pretty much in less than an hour, man.
And take me through that process a little bit. Obviously, you just told us you signed up Thursday. They're calling you. Where do you go? What do they do? What do they give you? What?
So So they call you basically, and they tell you, hey, like based on your zip code, here's a couple of sites, based on your zip code that's pretty close to you. And I got the list of places, and one of them was like Treetops Park, which is really close to me. So I said, okay, yeah, let's go there. They give you an appointment time, and basically you go in and you go through various like checkpoints where you show your license, you tell them your appointment time, and you snake through the line, and then you pull up to a little tent, you roll up your sleeve, and you get a shot.
Do they check you for COVID before they give you the test?
No, they don't. There's a health questionnaire that you have to fill out. Things like have you been sick in the last few days? Have you tested positive? Some pretty obvious things, but you have to fill that out before you go. So you do have that. They do have that information. I get tested weekly, so that's not like a hard thing for me.
Now, will you continue to get tested weekly?
Probably so, because it's my company policy until probably 2 or 3 weeks after my second shot.
Oh, you're doing the 2 shot. When's the second shot?
They scheduled. That's another thing. After I took the first shot, there's always an observation time. So after you take the shot, you drive into an area where they kind of keep you for about 15 minutes or so to see if you have any kind of reaction.
Make sure you don't die.
Yeah, make sure you don't die. And then
end up with Morticia.
Right.
Morticia.
Exactly. Great lead-in. So once you pass the observation time, then they schedule you for the second shot, and mine is April 15th.
And you went with the Pfizer, right?
That's correct.
You were not.
And that's another thing. In the website, you could pick which shot you want.
And did you pick that one, or did you pick? Is there like any available option?
Yes,
is that another option?
There's any first available. I specifically picked the Pfizer.
So you were not into that unholy Johnson & Johnson made with the remains of 80s abortions.
I wasn't too worried about.
Isn't that specific?
Yes, that is very specific. I wasn't too worried about that. I just felt that the Pfizer had probably, the best testing, the best, what is it that they call it? Efficacy? Yeah.
Yes.
So I went with that one, but I'm pretty confident for the most part that, they're relatively safe and effective. But I did pick the Pfizer.
I thought that was so weird. That came out down to that they were from the 80s.
Yeah.
I thought that, like, Jesus Christ, is that specific? Like these are abortions from the 80s. Like, wow. I didn't realize they kept them around so long.
Yeah. And, quite frankly, I know a lot of people that have taken the shot and they've used the different, manufacturers, I guess, for lack of a better term. And it looks like all of them have had some type of reaction on the second shot, regardless of, the manufacturer, except Johnson & Johnson, because that's only one shot. So if you don't get the reaction initially, then you're done, right?
Yeah,
but,
plus that was unholy.
Right. But the Moderna, the Pfizer, the...
Do you know what my dad went with?
I think they did the Moderna.
Yeah, he got a pretty bad reaction on the second one. He's not really a complainer, but he...
I was shocked about that because your dad is pretty healthy, pretty... not really any kind of medication, no health conditions. I would have thought your mom maybe would have had an issue.
Yeah.
But I think that goes to show you that it's completely genetic. and it varies really.
Yeah. He was just kind of down and out for like a day, and then he bounced back.
But I have to say, it is rare. My mother is probably the only one that I know that has taken both shots and has had no effect.
What did she take?
She took the Pfizer, and she's 85 years old and didn't have any issue with any of them. But everybody else that I know, including younger people, not just of your parents' age, have had some type of an effect on the second shot.
Which leads me into my next note that I had here. I read this week that the Miami Heat are going to allow for a special vaccinated only section. Did you hear about this?
I've heard some different things about that. I've also heard that some colleges come the fall are only going to allow people or students that are vaccinated to come back to campus. I've heard about the famous vaccine passport that suggests that you can't travel around the world or different places, whatever the case may be, without proof of vaccination. I've heard that the cruise ships are now thinking of only allowing vaccinated passengers to start their initial cruises. I think there's some legalities around there. I'll be surprised if that holds up.
Let me back you up for a second, and I wish Hialeah were here. He's on sabbatical. Shout out to Hialeah. Hopefully he'll be back next week. He did the unholy Johnson & Johnson one. He doesn't care about those 80s abortions. He mentioned they gave him a packet. Did you get something? How can you prove that you've had the vaccine?
So I did get a vaccination card, and the vaccination card lists the vaccination that I got that day, plus it schedules me for the next one. And both of those dates, the type of vaccination that I got, or the the company, or the Pfizer, whatever, is listed on there. So I have that vaccination card.
And is that like a paper card? Is that
it's a paper card? Yeah.
Just has your name on it, or what does it have on it?
Yeah, it just has basic information, my name, when I took the first shot.
How easy is that to forge?
I guess for people, anything is forgeable, and that is certainly easy.
Not that I would do that, but I'm just...
that is easy. It's a paper card.
So, let me
rephrase that, right? So, the actual item, right, it's paper, right, is easily forgeable. Now, the information they put on it, the serial number, the codes, that may be what makes it legitimate, right? I'm sure it does, right? So, the fact that it's a paper card is probably easy to forge, but the information that they put in there has to tie to something, and maybe that's the hard part.
Absolutely. What I'm saying is, if you're going to a Miami Heat game, maybe you can. I don't think the dude checking you into the stadium is getting into a database and looking up, oh yeah, okay, they're maybe just doing a visual,
Well, yes, if it's a visual, then, a guy could come with a cocktail napkin. I don't know. But you would think that if they're going to go through the trouble of doing that they're not just going to take your word for it. You would think. But,
you think they're going to look you up on a database?
Maybe so. Maybe so. And by the way, that makes everybody really, that makes people more uncomfortable with this, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking the question, because I could see travel where they're like, okay, yeah, we have access to the let's just call it COVID database or vaccine database. Oh, the bum says here number 54321. I look up on the database 54321. Yep, it's the bum. Okay, good. But maybe you're going to the Heat game. You just show that card. I don't think they're that's just me thinking. I don't think they're going into that database and, maybe checking that information. Maybe for travel, they'll do it. I don't know. Who knows? I'm just saying things could get complicated.
Yeah, and I've already had some of the beginnings of that. I've had some employees come to me and basically, express concern, saying, and my company's not doing this, but asking me, "Hey, John, is our company?" And I'm not going to say the company, but is our company going to force us at some point to be vaccinated? And the only way we can come to work is, if we're vaccinated. And in this guy's case, his concern is he's Rastafarian, and they have a lot of strict rules around things that they put into their body, believe it or not. And
there's one thing that you definitely put into your body, right?
Yes, but that's natural,
right?
So
they're anti-vax in general.
I did not know until he approached me on that. So they're kind of anti-vax. So he was concerned. Hey, like, am I going to lose my job if I don't get vaccinated? Is basically where he was going. Now that's where I go back to the whole legality piece of this, because I think I that's uncharted waters, right? I don't know if any of that kind of stuff is going to hold up in a court of law.
It's going to get dicey. It's going to get dicey.
You talk about going to a sporting event or a public event, and you have to show medical information. I think that's kind of weak. I don't know if that's going to hold up.
We have all these OSHA and all this personal, and then you're going to give.
You mean HIPAA?
Whatever, yeah, HIPAA. Medical information. What's OSHA? The one where you have accidents?
Yes.
Okay. HIPAA. And, I don't know if we're going to give access to, no disrespect to the clerk checking you into the Heat game. I don't know if we're going to give access to the guy checking your ticket at the Heat game to a medical database. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. Right.
So I think there's probably plenty of court challenges to come on that. And I would say they're already standing on very shaky ground with a lot of that.
Hey, and then in a year, right, you're going to be like, did you get your next shot? Oh, that shot expired. Yeah. You had that shot last year. We don't even know if that's good anymore. What do you have to get? A stamp on your passport that says, vaccine on, March 27th, 2021. Oh, that vaccine's no longer good for travel. What are we gonna come to with that?
Well, and for some people, this is not such an earth-shaking event, right? Because for a lot of people, even businessmen that are international travelers, they're used to getting a ton of vaccines to travel to many different places. It's kind of par for the course. So for people like that, they're not shocked by this. For us, that we may get a flu shot. For those that do that, this is like, oh my God, what are you doing? This is like earth shaking, but it's not really anything new per se.
I wonder, my cousin Victor, shout out to Victor, he does a lot of traveling for work to different places. I wonder what kind of shots he's been administered in his travels.
Right.
I don't know. I know he's been doing. I just visited with them. Well, not with them, with his parents, and they mentioned to me he had been doing a lot of traveling during the time for work and stuff. So I wonder,
during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
pleasure too, not just work. Pleasure.
Wow.
Too.
I am shocked about that, because I would have thought that's a guy that would have really stuck to the rules. And
well, I don't think he was breaking any rules.
I know my company suspended all business travel and still has suspended all business travel.
And they are a international company, right?
They're North American and some Caribbean and Canada, but I wouldn't say they're international.
Yeah, he is like definitely full blown international. Like, for example, I know he went to Singapore a lot in the past and other places like that. And they were just in Colorado recently. Anyway.
Yeah, that's surprising because, again, a lot of companies have suspended business travel. I mean, and you know that's a little surprising. And I would have thought he would have been kind of following that.
Yeah, no. Shout out to him. He's living his life.
He's quite the thrill seeker compared to us.
Yeah, I gotta get out of here. I'm gonna do something soon. Well, you guys are getting out of town, right? Like a day thing at least, little escapade.
Well, tomorrow I'm gonna be. Apparently, I've bought a beach place, so tomorrow I'm gonna go probably see your sister and be down in that area. I think I'm heading out in maybe 5 minutes.
Okay, we'll do it on the road. We'll do the show on the road.
Yeah, I'm leaving in 20 minutes.
Is it a day thing?
Yeah, I think your parents may even go too, but
I may go too.
Yeah, so I'm doing that tomorrow, and I think Sarah has a dance competition that we're going to be in Orlando in a few weeks.
Oh, okay. So shout out to Jensen Beach where we're going.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not supposed to say. We're gonna keep.
Yes, limit the offers.
Yeah, we don't want
the property we're looking at.
We don't want the 2 people watching right now to go and buy up all the property. Shout out to Sarah. Yeah, Sarah's going to lead into this next thing. Your daughter, Sarah, real quick.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get into the football because we're talking too much. We're getting off track. So, Sarah had, and this is why it reminds me of, did you hear about this whole Kylie, what's her fucking name?
Jenner
fiasco with the GoFundMe and her ex makeup artist guy, whatever you want to call it.
I only heard that she started some kind of GoFund and people were outraged, but I don't know the details. I gotta tell you, man, the whole Kardashian thing is something that really turns me off big time. Even though
does it turn you off? Because you've sent me some pictures that seem like they turn you on.
I was about to specify that outside of the kind of the bull crap of their lives, I do appreciate their looks.
A big remote. Well, just for clarification purposes, she had a makeup artist at one time. And thank you, Remo, for being that one guy that is watching, by the way. We appreciate it.
Hopefully he won't buy our property.
Yeah. No, he's out on the West Coast. Maybe he'll be coming to Florida. Who knows? You never know. So here's the deal with Kylie. Her ex makeup artist, I guess he had an accident, some type of car accident, and they started a little GoFundMe for him. I think their goal was $10,000. And I guess word got back to her somehow, and she shared it. She wasn't the one who actually started it. She shared it. Hey, let's help him. And at the time that I guess she caught wind of it, he was around $5,000-6,000, and she gave another $5,000, and that made the goal, right? So the goal was 10. They were at 5 something. Boom, she threw in the money to make the goal, which a lot of people gave her shit later, hey, why didn't you just pay his bills? You're filthy rich. What, know? And obviously that's a knee-jerk reaction too, but I'll take a step back and hey, I have no sympathy for these people, whatever, I have no skin in the game, but analyzing it, dude, she didn't have to do that. She could have just been whatever. She shared the thing. She put the money in, even if that's a spit in the bucket for her. But what happened that made her look bad is she threw in $5,000, and then the goal that was $10,000 eventually got raised to $100,000, and then her $5,000 donation kind of looks
wimpy.
in retrospect, it looks, oh my God, the goal's 100. You put 5, but at the time she put 5, it was, she reached the goal.
Yeah, there's some people that would say though, just by her putting it on her platform is money, right?
That's why they got to $100,000.
Right. She basically elevated that situation beyond really money, right? Because she gave it the attention that it would never have anywhere else, and that's worth money in itself, right?
That's worth $100,000. I mean, obviously, in this case, it's worth $100,000. Remo, we're gonna start talking football. I know you, and my condolences. I know you're a Lions fan. I have no idea. Maybe the bum knows, or maybe you're the man to tell us. What have the Lions been doing, and what do you like? What have you not liked from the Detroit Lions? Fill me in, Big Remo, if
you can. To answer that?
Huh?
Am I supposed to answer that?
No, I'm asking him. He's a Lions fan. He I know he's out in the West Coast, but he's a Detroit Lions fan.
Because they have one of the biggest trades of the offseason.
Well, then go ahead. Let's talk about it.
So basically, they traded Matthew Stafford to the Rams, and they got Jared Goff, right?
Yes, that was the big initial. He's about to be a Niner fan, I think is what he's saying. Now the Niners pulled off a deal with the Dolphins today, which I really like that one, dude.
Yeah, that kind of weird.
Weird in what sense? Tell me why.
I guess so. Then they had a trade with the Eagles, right?
Okay, I want to leave that one for a second because first this one happened, right?
Right.
Well, they almost happened simultaneously, right?
A very short period of time between them.
I liked – let me see if I can add this. I liked the Niner aspect of the trade because it seemed like we got more we traded down from 3 and we got their 12 and their third round in 22 plus 2 more first rounders. So, dude, we gave 1 first rounder and we got 3 first rounders back.
Right, but then we traded
a third rounder.
Right, but then we traded with Philadelphia, one of those first rounders, to get back into this draft, I think at number 6.
Correct. So after we get from the Niners, they're number 12. So we went 3 down to 12. We picked up a third rounder in 2022. We picked up a first rounder in 2022. We picked up a first rounder in 2023. Then we went ahead and we sent 12 and 123 and our own first rounder to the Eagles for number 6 and number 156, which number 156 is a freaking, that's a 6th rounder, right?
Yeah.
I didn't like that part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I may have been happy just stopping at the 49ers.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that what's his name? Chris
Greer?
Chris Greer is like
he owes favors to the Eagles?
He keeps passing he keeps giving up his picks, so they don't tell him that he drafts bad. It's like a perpetual pick passing. It just seems that way, but
he's kind of hoarding picks.
I guess, but at some point, you know what? You just got to make the picks, and they got to be good. And that's where people could, come back and say, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they've done all that well. And certainly when you look at their free agency last year, they spent a ton of money and then practically let everybody that they got, go away, right? They either cut them or they didn't re-sign them. So I don't know. I'm a little on the downside there.
On the Dolphins?
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, look, if we look at it overall, let's not cut it in half. let's look at the whole thing. If we look at the whole pie, meaning we combine the Eagles and Niner deals, what do we got at the end of the day? We went down from 3 to 6, and we picked up a 3rd round pick and a 1st round pick. And shit, man, we shouldn't have done the Eagles end of this. The Eagles end of this made it worse for me in my mind.
I have to agree, man.
Yeah.
Now you know why I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah, it started off good. It seems like we fleeced the Niners.
It seems like at some point we always outsmart ourselves.
I would like to know the thinking on that. Maybe they're targeting somebody at 6. They're probably going receiver, right? Would you say?
Well,
or
what all that traffic makes you believe, right, is that they weren't really in love with anybody in the top, 15? 20? Right. And that they felt that they could get great players, in later rounds.
Yeah, man, I think after the first few picks in any given draft, you either are drafting good. There's guys to be had. I mean, we could look at the history of the NFL, and you'd be like, you'll be like, yeah, dude, they got this. This is Russell Wilson was a 3rd rounder. Tom Brady. Obviously, I'm giving extreme examples, but in every draft you could look, and there's like 26th guy picked overall. There's hype, that comes into picks.
Yeah, but you're right. But generally speaking, you have to your top 2 picks generally have to be really good.
Yes. That's the idea.
Yeah.
What are those chimes?
That was my ring.
Okay. I thought like that was a segment of the show that would start when
that's me contemplating.
It's time for Deep Thoughts by the Bum.
Yes, exactly.
So just touching on the Dolphins for a minute, then what do we have going on? We let go of linebacker, former Patriot
Kyle Van Noy.
He's now a Patriot again.
Almost all the Patriots that we got last year became Patriots again. So Ted Karras, who was a really good center for us.
No relation to Father Karras.
No, yeah.
All right.
Went back to New England.
Lineman.
He was a center.
Mm-hmm.
Really good for us, played well, but we only signed him for a 1-year deal, and then we didn't re-sign him. We lost Kyle Van Noy. We said that. We traded Shaq Lawson, who is a guy that gave us 6.5 sacks or so, and we really don't have any edge rushers, so we gave him up. We actually traded him.
Do you think this is regulation?
I don't think that, not in the NFL. That's regulation in some other alternate universe.
It's literally made of paper.
Okay. We got rid of our punter, which I thought like he was really super strong. Matt Hack.
Oh, but wasn't that a few years ago?
No, I saw it now. If I looked at it correctly, he went to the Bills.
Didn't we draft a punter last year?
No, we drafted a kicker, didn't we?
Sanders? Who's our kicker?
No, our kicker is Sanders, and I thought and I'm pretty sure we got rid of our punter, Hack. And he went to the Bills. And that's the other thing. I don't know any other team that loses its players as much as we do in our division, which is a killer.
Absolutely.
We also lost Devon Godchild, the defensive tackle, who was pretty good, to the Patriots.
Oh, we lost our backup quarterback too.
But we got one of their defensive linemen, Adam Butler, who's really good.
One of their defensive what? I'm sorry?
Defensive linemen. Adam Butler, who's really good. We got him. Last year, our running back signings was a complete debacle. We got that guy, Jordan Howard. We cut him. We got Matt Breida. We didn't re-sign him. We signed Mount.
I think somebody in the AFC East got him, right?
Yeah, the Bills.
The Bills again.
The Bill. Like we lose our players to our division. I've never seen anything like it. We picked up Malcolm Butler from the Rams at running back.
Malcolm Brown,
yes. Sorry.
Yeah, Malcolm Butler's cornerback. I believe he's still a Titan.
Absolutely correct. Oh, and
dude,
then
I'm trying to look up. I thought we drafted.
Then there's the Titan that we got, that we traded for, who was a number 1 pick of the Titans. That guy, Isaiah something or other. Thomas.
So we're getting former failed.
And we cut him 3 days later after trading for him.
Seriously?
Yes, because he didn't show up to camp and didn't go to the voluntary meetings. He was completely unaccounted for. They couldn't find him, and they cut him 3 days or so later. So we lost a 7th round pick over that.
Oh my God.
It was a good gamble, but it didn't work out really fast.
One that I'm not angry about, and I love Fitz, and I think he contributed a lot to the team in his time here, on the field and off the field. But I'm not, when I look at it, considering the financials aspect of it too, dude, I think getting Jacoby Brissett for less than half the cost of what Fitzpatrick ended up signing for or was costing, not a bad move.
Well, yeah, I don't hate that move, because you get a younger player who's probably as good or maybe better in some cases than Fitz. I'll tell you, Fitz going to Washington is interesting. From a fantasy perspective, if you're a Terry McLaurin owner, and they also got Curtis Samuel now over there, who's a very kind of unique weapon that could do a lot of different things, line him at the backfield, play receiver. I think that team's going to be kind of fun to watch.
What happened to Alex Smith?
They cut him.
Did he pick up somewhere?
Not that I know of. So when I look at the whole kind of free agency thing, it harkens back to the first thing that kind of pops into my head is where the league is. People have been talking about, well, the league's become a passing league, right? Well, when you look at free agency, man, there's been a ton of movement around the wide receiver position and the quarterback position. And sure enough, that kind of aligns with that idea that it's become a more pass-heavy, league. And you start going through some of the signings, and it kind of matches up that way.
Okay, I have a confession to make real quick. I was fixated on some sort of special teams player that we drafted, and what I was thinking is we drafted a long snapper last year, which was Blake Ferguson, and he apparently still is on the team. But I remember this guy was a pretty solid punter, and we kind of did the same thing before him. I think the punter before him was a pretty solid.
Donnie Jones or something like that. Was it that guy?
We seem to have always had really good punters.
Yeah. And actually, our special teams is always very good. And it seems like we're not afraid to kind of jettison that and kind of start over again. And
whether it be return men or punters or kickers, right?
Well, mostly on the kickers. I think we've struggled a little bit more on the return side, even though that's been better as of late. But certainly on the kicking side, we've kind of recycled through that pretty quickly.
I mean, Matt Turk was a pretty solid punter here for a while.
Yeah.
The combination of Drake and little guy who's often injured, receiver
Jakeem Grant.
Jakeem Grant, not too shabby. You know, when we had Jarvis and he was doing that duty.
Yeah, no doubt.
Not too shabby.
Right.
If you want to go a little further back, Wes Welker, pretty solid.
Yeah.
I don't have a good gauge on other teams around the league, whether that is whether that holds true for other teams. But I kind of do have that feeling too, that we've always kind of been able to fill those special team holes pretty effortlessly.
They don't seem to value that. Well, it seems like, Hack he's gone to the Buffalo Bills. They signed him. And we have a new guy, Michael Clarity or something like that. But like I said before, what I noticed is there's been a lot of movement around the wide receiver position and the quarterback position.
In general,
yes.
Okay.
I mean, we start talking about some of the top guys that signed. I mean, you talk about the Curtis Samuel to Washington, Kenny Golladay to the Giants, Will Fuller to the Dolphins.
What do you think about that one?
I don't know. It seems like we're going to have possibly the most oft-injured starting lineup between Devante Parker and Will Fuller. Both very good when they play, but also very known for missing games.
Let's take a look at his numbers real quick here. So Will Fuller did have a PED suspension last year. We have to mention that. My man, he's never played more than 14 games. He's played 14, 10, 7, 11, and 11, whether that be through injury or suspension.
Yeah.
At times, he's been a serviceable fantasy player. He did have 8 tutties last year.
Yep.
Dude, it's hard for me to get super excited about this guy. He seems like would be pretty cool, third or fourth guy. We got to draft a guy here, right? This is where we got to strike, right? At this position.
Yeah, I would have to say so. And I'm thinking that we're going to regret all this kind of. I understand that getting a lot of picks is exciting, but I'm fearing we're going to regret not picking that Alabama receiver. That's going to be yet another guy that we're going to say, wow, we could have had a chance. But
we did pick up another Alabama receiver that I think has some history with Tua, former Bill. You know who I'm talking about?
I know we did pick up another receiver.
Yeah.
I can't think of him right now.
The Dolphins did pick up he was a former Bill.
Yes. Robert Foster?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
That's
Robert
what I'm talking
Foster.
about.
Yes.
I believe he has some history with Tua. That not a major move, but
right.
We need some major moves in that position.
Yeah.
It's been, I think, a position that we've been able to kind of adequately fill in years past. What's up with the other little guy that we got from Kansas City that sat out last year for COVID?
Albert Wilson?
Wilson, yes.
Yeah, I haven't heard much about that guy. But wait a minute. So refresh my memory here. Before we did this trade, what were our first round picks?
We were sitting at the third pick.
Third, and we had another one in the first round?
Yeah, 18? Which we still do, which is 18, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So a lot of people thought that, the ideal shot there would have been, is it Devante Smith, the receiver from Alabama?
Yes, which I got to tell you, and I don't know.
I know, he's small, this, that, and the other.
I feel like he's fragile.
Okay, so a lot of people thought we were sitting pretty by picking that guy at 3, and then is it Najee Harris, their running back, also?
Yes, which that guy,
and we would have been.
That guy looks pretty good. So does the Etienne guy, which he'll be gone from Clemson. He looks like Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, and a lot of people thought that that was good enough, right? Because you're not, yes, those are high picks, but you're not picking guys that don't have pedigree. You have guys that if they actually suck, it'll be a surprise versus a project that you pick later in the rounds that doesn't have that history, who you may be saying, oh, when he played, he was really good, but he was often injured. That tends to be the kind of guy we like to pick now. We like to try to steal or get a bargain that we're gonna like find this mystery person and just like out fake the entire league. I don't get it, right? What's wrong with for sure things that maybe go wrong?
Your character's being called into question here by Big Remo. Did the bum sell the cream and the clear to Barry Bonds? Did he play bass for Tower of Power?
I'm not sure what that means.
He's plead the fifth on that. Let's take a look at some transactions from around the league, see if any of these things stick out to us. Trubisky.
I thought that these folks did a pretty decent job. They got Trubisky as a backup quarterback to, their horse. They signed Manny Sanders, which is kind of hides in that list there. That, they're going to have Stephon Diggs and Manny Sanders. That's not too shabby.
Wow. I didn't even know Trubisky signed as a Bill, dude.
Yeah.
They've been busy, bro.
Yeah, and then down at the bottom, you have Matt Hack from us. They picked up Jacob Hollier from the Seahawks. So not too shabby,
Matt Breida. This is us here now.
Yes.
Brissett, Malcolm Brown. I think we got to draft somebody there too. Matt Collins re-signed.
Look at Isaiah Wilson, right? The Dolphins released Wilson shortly after the trade was finalized.
Yeah, that was a waste.
I mean, that was a good gamble, but Jesus, it didn't last at all. And then down at the bottom, you have what is our new punter?
Michael Pallardy. Hopefully he's not a parody of Hawk.
Of Pallardy.
Yeah. And let's move on here. These guys have been very busy.
Yes. And they did, on the surface, they did a pretty nice job because, Nelson Aguilar really came into his own last year as a deep threat with the Raiders.
He was balling, dude, towards the end of the year.
They re-signed Cam Newton. That's kind of suspect, but really, when you look at the quarterbacks that are available, I guess that was the best. And if you add some additional tools to them, maybe you could salvage that. They got 2 super tight ends in Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. They got
now,
a great.
How old are these tight ends, bum?
No, I'm thinking they're relatively young.
Are they 30 years old yet?
I wouldn't think so, but I could be wrong. You may want to check that.
Let's see. Let's see how old they are. Age 26 on Hunter Henry, former Charger. There he is.
I would have thought that's the oldest guy in this.
Oh, this guy's younger. Jonnu Smith is actually younger, 25.
Yeah.
This may be a fucking power move. I was kind of thinking they're desperate. I don't know, dude. That may
be. Trent Brown, who's an amazing offensive tackle. They were able to sign him. They got Ted Karras back from us, who's a really solid center. And then they signed Raekwon McMillan that we used to have. I mean,
Raekwon McMillan was a Raider last year, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, we traded him in the preseason. They got Godshaw, who you mentioned earlier.
Right.
Kyle Van Noy, who you mentioned earlier.
Yep.
A couple of re-signings here. Very busy, dude. Very, very, very long list of transactions.
They spent a lot of money there.
Anything happened on the Jets front here?
Well, and again, the theme is wide receivers, right? They signed Corey Davis from the Titans, which a lot of people think, he's like a hidden gem. Others think he's kind of hot and cold. Keelan Cole from the Jags, so they improved their wide receiver situation. Obviously, they still have a quarterback issue there, right? They signed Tevin Coleman, who's always that guy who plays well when he gets a chance, but somehow always gets injured or is upstaged by some other running back,
Yeah, can't seem to grasp that opportunity.
Yeah,
when it's given to him full blown.
I'll tell you one move that really has me kind of scratching my head, and the Raiders have a couple of them. Shockingly enough, they signed Kenyon Drake. Actually, having Josh Jacobs there, that kind of puts that backfield kind of in question, right?
Well, you know what, dude? Save it for a moment. Let's just go down this list real quick here. We got the Ravens up. Sammy Watkins, very injury prone of late. Not a lot of action here on the Ravens, but then again, pretty fucking solid team to begin with. I guess they're kind of putting their money where they already are, more than trying to make a splash. Not too much to talk about here, right?
Yep.
The Bungles,
yeah. A lot of people love the Bungles. They feel that once they get that offensive line straightened out, Burrow comes back from his injury, that, they have enough tools. They got Mixon in the backfield. They have some good receivers. By the way, Aj Green finally left them, and we could get to that when we get to his team. So
we're on it. Yeah, I mean they're not going to mention the retirement, so we might as well mention it now. Great career, great guy, by all accounts. Never, ever that I know of any bad press on that guy.
But he seemed to get injury prone the last 2 or 3 years there, and some people say maybe it's a little bit to do with how crappy the team was and kind of gave up on them. So, fresh start, and I guess that's good for him.
Yeah. Solid career. The Cleveland Browns.
Yep. And
not a lot to speak of here. What's up with OBJ?
Yeah, they kind of stayed, if you look here, you see a lot of re-sign. Yeah. They they kind of stand pat, actually, they have a lot of good players, man, when you look at it.
Yeah. I guess the key there is obviously old Burrow. So we'll see how that plays out. Pittsburgh Steelers up next here. They re-signed Juju.
Yes, that was their kind of that was a surprise. A lot of people thought he was going to go to Kansas City.
He must be a loyal guy.
And he only signed for 1 year. So I guess he's thinking of a payoff ahead of time. And, that receiving core, you got Deontay Johnson. You have, what's the other guy's name that became really popular last year?
You had him in fantasy, right?
Well, I had Deontay Johnson, but what's the other guy that really became popular?
I know who you're talking about, but I am 4 bourbon glasses in right now.
Yes, so, that guy. That he would.
So they're going to roll. They're going to.
He may have had like 2 or 3 games where he scored 3 touchdowns or something, but that's all he did all year. I can't think of his name right now.
They're going to roll with Big Ben.
Yes, they are. He signed on 1 year. McLeod? No, not McLeod. Damn.
We're a little bit McLeody.
Yes, I'm McLeody, and I'm
What
ready.
are you drinking, bum?
I'm having wine tonight.
Okay, nice. I am having Sazerac rye whiskey, and it's fucking delicious. Let's see. I'm looking at their stats.
Actually, I finished a bottle earlier of wine, and I'm on my second and a half. Your sister did help a little bit.
Second and a half? I'm surprised you're even here.
Thank you.
All right. I got. Is it Chase Claypool who you're talking about?
Yes, Claypool. Right. There you go.
Okay.
So it's Claypool, Juju Smith, and Deontay Johnson. Man, that's freaking solid. It
is. If they can keep it together, I kind of see this Juju thing too, because he does need to have kind of like a re-establishing year, because he was a little bit up and down. So I almost get the 1 year deal and let me set this straight and then get my big deal. So I guess they're kind of just rolling again with what they had, which doesn't seem like you're going to be able to do a lot different than what you did, right?
Well, I guess they're thinking, that stretch. Remember, what were they, 11-0 or something?
You forget about that, right? You forget about that, right?
Were they 10 or 11-0 or something?
Yeah, something like that. You're right, dude. But I always thought it was a very weak 10-0 or 11-0.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? They're betting against your thinking there, right? They're thinking that, they were solid and they ran into some bad luck and they're going to roll with that team again and they'll be fine. That's what they're thinking. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm thinking the other way. I had forgotten.
No, I got you. I got you.
But yeah, I guess if I were them, I think the same way, right? If I did something right 11 times and it came out bad 5 times, I'd be like, I could fucking recapture that, dude. I know what I did wrong. All I have to do is this, that, and the other, and that's what they're betting on.
Yeah.
Okay, next team up here is the Houston Texans.
By the way, you're not sharing your screen anymore.
No, I removed it for a second because I wanted to look up some lawsuits for a second off the air. Thank you, though. Because before I talk about these signings, I need to talk about Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
And the Houston Texans in general. Jesus Christ, what a fucking shitstorm, man.
Big time. But you know what? It's been like that for a while, right? This is not that surprising.
There's always something going on here.
They had the racist owner. They had the coach that was the GM that was with the ass on his chin, asshole chin.
I'm partial to that because I kind of have an ass on my chin, so I'm not
nowhere near his. But
I'm not going to go with you on that one. But I hear you.
Kind of faulty, but look what they've done here. They've certainly improved their backfield with Mark Ingram and Phillip Lindsay, right?
Yes. Hey, hold on. Before we get to these signings and re-signings, we're talking a little bit about their hierarchy. Dude, they always seem to be trying to get these Patriot guys. So they got a Patriot guy. Are you familiar with this chaplain, former Patriots chaplain, that now is in their power structure?
I don't. I mean, I heard of Nick Cassero, who they brought in, right, from New England. And that was one of the things that really ticked off Watson and made him rebel and really want to get out of there. That was kind of the impetus for that. But I did not hear about the whole chaplain thing.
Well, yeah, this guy, and I'm trying to look up his name right now. This guy, look at his face.
Jesus, yeah.
He is the former, and what a more nefarious position to have than former Patriots team chaplain, Jack Easterby. He was formerly their character coach, team development guy. I don't want to get too deep in it. It's a whole nother story, but he's in that power structure there, and he had some things to do with this guy getting out of there. What's his name? O'Brien. maybe had to do with Watson. And Jesus Christ, Watson, dude, what a fucking problem that guy has on his hands.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I mean, was it, if anything was clear, right? Once they did that DeAndre Hopkins trade, you know that this franchise, and I assume that's what happened to Watson, right? Once they let that guy go, Watson and some of those the rest of those players knew that this thing was dysfunctional and it wasn't going to ever work out. You know, how could you, if you have Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins, how do you break that up?
Oh, we were bewildered by that last year when we did this same type of show last year.
Yeah.
And we still are. And yeah, absolutely. But Deshaun Watson, 16 plus allegations of inappropriate behavior with women, most of them, I think all of them, masseuses that he contacted via Instagram. A lot of them, all of them alleging the same type of predatory behavior where, you know, he exposes himself to them, he touches them with his penis. A lot of stories. This is adult-only content coming up. You know, a lot of the stories involving, you know, him wanting the women to touch his butthole and things like this. And what a fucking nightmare. You know, and there's been some grumblings where people say, oh, Jesus, dude, they're all coming out now when he's, you know, kind of turning his back on the franchise. They're all represented by the same lawyer. But, dude, that's a lot of allegations, dude. A lot of different people.
Absolutely. I mean, that goes beyond the norm. And in addition, you know, I've even heard other stories where maybe, you know, the franchise was involved in kind of pushing these women out.
And why would they want to do that? To get out from under him because they realize they can't trade him?
Well, no, to actually, so he's untradeable and he realizes and he stays.
Okay, that would be the move. So we make it so you cannot be traded, and we make it so you don't. That doesn't sound like a solid business decision there.
Well, if you don't want to lose, think about it. If you trade yet another great player, I don't care if you get a king's ransom. At the end of the day, you lost a great player, and a great player didn't want to play in your franchise. So, you know, and I'm not saying these conspiracy theories are correct, but, you know, maybe there's that thought of, you know, we just rather keep everything status quo and have them here instead of going through that whole process of getting rid of yet another great player, right?
Yeah, dude, but that seems like cutting your nose off to spite your face. Like, do you you know, let's pretend we're in Miami. Do we want to throw out allegations just to keep a guy around, but then we've sullied him to that level, you know, where like even your fans, you know, are not going to want that guy around. Jesus Christ, dude. I wonder if this guy's going to fucking play next year.
I got to tell you, though, I don't know if fans don't necessarily choose their star player because of what he does sexually or off the field. If the guy's great and he wins football games, people will forgive a lot of things. So I don't know, you know, I don't know how many fans will say, you know what, I hope we trade that guy because he likes to get his butt wingled, you know. I don't know.
You know, butt wingling aside, he's assaulting women, though, dude. Look at Ray Rice, dude.
No, I get that. I
thought, and you know, I'll probably catch some flack, but I thought it was severe. Yeah, it was disgusting what he did, but that guy's career got ended. But then yet again, you have guys like the guy who came back to the Browns, former chief. His name is escaping me right now. Kareem Hunt. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, came back. Josh Gordon. Oh, yes, there was a drug issues. Came back many a times. You know, Michael Vick, different type of issues. You know, it's just sometimes it's weird to me how some guys are able to come back and some guys are not, and it doesn't always tie into their talent. Usually it does, though. A lot of times it does. I mean, it would be hard for me to believe that he's never going to play again. But anyways, let's move on to some of their other moves. Tyrod Taylor. They signed
the old
him.
lung punctured quarterback.
Yeah, he's becoming sort of that journeyman guy now. Yeah, he's fourth team. Ingram's kind of becoming a journeyman guy.
Yeah.
We got Lindsey here. You know, nice guy.
I like Philip. Yeah, I like Philip Lindsay in this scenario. I think he'll come out of this backfield. I think probably the leader.
If you're gonna have a committee, not a bad guy to have in your committee. Dante Moncrief.
There's Shaq Lawson that they got from us in a trade.
Let's see, acquired and traded with the Miami Dolphins along with a 2021 6th-round pick in exchange. Okay, this is the linebacker we got. Yeah. This was earlier this year. They've been kind of busy, dude.
Yeah.
Not any major moves, but
no.
Okay, here's the Colts. Not a lot of moves.
Well, Wentz. I mean, Carson Wentz is pretty big. I'm surprised Marlon Mack re-signed there with that guy, Jonathan Taylor.
Yep.
Really emerging, and they drafted him last year. They have Xavier Rhodes, who's a, all-pro corner there. But this is another team that figures our problem was quarterback, and we're going to fix it with Carson Wentz.
I don't know how much you can fix anything with Carson Wentz until you fix Carson Wentz.
I would agree with you on that.
Now they know more than me.
This is betting on that Carson Wentz was great and Doug Peterson ruined him at the end, right? That's what you're betting on there. And I don't know. I like Peterson. I'm not sure I'd go with that.
Is this breaking news from Joe B, or is this old news?
I have not seen this.
I'm going to have to look this up real quick. Who are the teams involved? Washington. And who else?
The Falcons. Wow, that tells me somebody's going after a quarterback here, huh?
I'm not seeing this report. But I guess it's breaking, so maybe that's why I'm not seeing it. Big Remo saying Josh Jacobs injury prone.
That's kind of true.
Yeah.
But guess what? Kenyon Drake, would you say that guy is the picture of health?
No. But I wouldn't necessarily put that label on him yet.
I don't know. That guy, what was that other?
Who signed him?
Who?
Drake?
Drake was signed by the Raiders, so they have Josh Jacobs and Kenyon Drake now.
We'll dive into Drake in a minute. Jaguars up next.
Yes. Something of note here. Is it possible that they have their starting 3 receivers are all juniors? Marvin
Jones is a junior, right?
They have that Shanique something Holt and DJ Shark. Is he a junior?
I didn't know that.
I think so. I think they have like 3 juniors now.
That might be a record.
Yeah, that may be a record.
But other than that side note, I'm not seeing a lot of things here that are necessarily making my toes tingle, like the late great Mad Dog Jim Mandich would say.
I would agree. Their big tingles coming when they pick Lawrence, right, at quarterback.
Yep. Tennessee Titans up next here. They picked up Bud Dupree.
Yeah, that's a solid player. Josh Reynolds from the Rams is a nice little player. They did lose Corey Davis. They lost Jonnu Smith.
Mm-hmm.
This may be a team that may be retreating. They may be contracting. We'll have to see. But this could start to spell the end of the great Ryan Tannehill resurgence.
I mean, you still got the GOAT
AJ
running
Brown.
back.
You have is it AJ Brown?
Yep.
You have the beast at running back.
Yep.
Derrick Henry.
Yep.
I mean, that's pretty good right there.
Yep.
But we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll have to keep a close eye. AFC West, Denver Broncos.
Very light action there.
Light action, lost some guys. Again, we have to see the draft on a lot of these teams too, but
yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs.
I'd be resigning a lot of these guys
linemen.
Too. Yeah. Wow, that guy Taco Charlton has played, I think, at every team. We even had him at a time.
Former Cowboy too, right?
Former Cowboy, former Dolphin, former Seahawk. That guy's been everywhere, man.
Yeah, great name. Okay, and here are the Raiders who finally you wanted to get into Kenyon Drake. I would like to look up his stats.
They had a lot of activity, believe it or not. They also signed John Brown from the Buffalo Bills.
Let's look up Drake and see how injury prone he is, and then we'll get into the rest of their guys. First, I mean, the guys played no less than 14 games every year. So 16, 16, 16, 14, and 15. I would say that's pretty solid, dude.
Not as bad as what I would have thought, but he seemed to, man, I saw that guy. What was that guy, Edmonds? That guy played a lot last year.
Yes. But look, dude, he had 955 yards.
Yep.
So when you look at that, sometimes you got to separate fantasy football from the equation, right?
No, absolutely. People are betting on potential here more than anything else, right?
Yeah.
And some degree of stats, of course.
Yes, and some people, if you have that first round fantasy pick and he gets you 955 yards, yes, you're going to be disappointed. But if you look at this from a purely football lens, he's not a bum.
No, he's not a bum.
He had near 1,000 yards. He averaged, 4 a carry, which is like a career low. But
of course, when you look at it from a fantasy perspective again, what value does he have matched up with, Josh Jacobs? Big Remo brings up Josh Jacobs is injury prone. I agree. So where does that put those two players? I don't know.
No, I mean, they are going to hurt each other fantasy-wise. I mean, they also look at the next guy they signed, Theo Reddick, which is like a third down back kind of guy. So that's definitely – we're setting up a committee.
Wow, they picked up John Brown, Zay Jones, Willie Snead, who's kind of an old bum at this point, but still.
And you're going to have a Derek Carter to Derek Carrier connection possibly.
Wow.
And look at good old Richie Incognito.
Wow, I didn't even know that guy was still playing.
I didn't know he was alive, but there he is. He's definitely a Raider, dude. He probably I'm not going to retire until I'm a Raider.
Makes sense.
And definitely a fucking Raider. And I'm sorry Hialeah's not here for this, dude.
Yeah.
Los Angeles Chargers next.
Well, their big signing is or their trade was Matthew Stafford, right? That's their quarterback now. They picked up Jared Cook at tight end. Aside from that, they've kept their team, which,
No, Stafford's not a Charger, though. He's a Ram.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, a Ram.
Yes, we've been drinking. That's all good.
Yeah.
They got Chase Daniel.
Yeah.
Where was Chase Daniel at?
Don't even know.
Was he Jesus Christ? Let's look this up real quick. $13 years. Jesus. I think he was a Giant at one time. But veteran tight end, Jared Cook.
And they lost, I guess, Hunter Henry, right?
Yeah.
That's why they had to sign him.
Yeah.
I would prefer if they would be called the San Diego Chargers. That would help me when I'm drunk.
Yes, absolutely. These are the kind of things that throw you off.
Los Angeles Chargers and Los Angeles Rams. Who the hell's idea was that?
I don't know. And then we didn't even have a team there forever. You know?
Yeah. So
and now we don't have one in San Diego. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Here's the Cowboys.
These, their big move obviously is finally signing Dak Prescott, who's coming back from a horrific injury.
Yeah.
Man, this team, they got that is a CeeDee Lamb who played really well. On the other side, they have Amari Cooper. If this guy's healthy again, they'll be interesting. But some of these other guys, not really sure here.
Yeah. Not making my toes tingle. New York Giants.
They made a lot of moves.
They did, dude. In the receiver section, I'm seeing here some action.
They got
Kyle Rudolph. Veteran Kyle Rudolph, John Ross, Kenny Golladay, Devante Booker, Mike Glennon, who's become journeyman backup.
And they already had Sterling Shepard.
Right.
And they had Evan Ingram at tight end already. So, I don't know if they have what's the other guy with the funny name that came over from Detroit
at the receiver position.
Yes.
Is it Golden?
Yeah, Golden Shower. Yeah.
Yes, Golden Shower Tate.
So I don't know if they still have that, but man, they've kind of bolstered their team. They're going to get Saquon Barkley back. I guess if Daniel Jones can't deliver, I guess the whole thing falls apart, right?
He was released, by the way,
wow.
Golden Tate.
So he's not even playing football.
No. But right. I do kind of like their quarterback, to be honest with you. I think that guy will be solid. He we fall into that trap, I think, sometimes of like we want everybody to be Patrick Mahomes. And you know what, dude? There's only one fucking Patrick Mahomes, okay?
Yeah.
Just chill the fuck out, dude. There's not going to, there's only one. They don't come around that often. Give a guy a chance. That guy's shown me some things that I like. So I don't think they're going to be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they've upgraded his weapons, so he should be better. We'll see, right?
Look at old Joe Flacco getting another job.
Why would you go there? Wow. These people,
I guess, because it only cost you like $3.5 million.
These people didn't do jack, huh? At least not in free agency.
No, other than fire a good coach, and I guess he hasn't picked up anywhere. You know what, dude? It's not a terrible move, Joe Flacco, dude, a veteran to be in there with your new young guy that's taking over.
Joe, I'm in a phone booth, Flacco.
Yeah, mobility is definitely not his forte.
The R2-D2 of quarterbacks.
This has to be the least moves of any team.
Yes.
Washington football team. So is Fitzmagic going to be the starter here?
I believe so. They got rid of Dwayne Haskins. They cut Alex Smiths. Oh, wait. There's the quarterback that almost beat Tom Brady. What was that guy's name?
Yeah.
Whatever that guy's name is then.
I know who you're talking about. I guess there'll be a competition. And look, they got Lamar Miller, dude.
And they got Curtis Samuel, which is kind of interesting. They have Terry McLaurin and him now. That's not too shabby.
Adam Humphries.
Yep.
Former Buck.
Wow, Lamar Miller? Did that guy not play last year? He got injured, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember seeing him on the field last year.
Because I thought he signed with the Patriots and never played with them.
I'm not sure. I don't remember that. Lamar, let's look him up.
Lamar Godey.
I always like to go with the Pro Football Reference. He was a Bear, dude, for one game.
Jesus.
How fast you fall from grace, right, in the NFL?
Yeah.
Kind of a 1,000-yard back hovering guy to one game with the Bears for whatever reason last year.
Yeah.
Which is the next team here. Andy Dalton, who you have a funny story about this.
Well, yeah, I mean, first of all, they've already announced him as a starting quarterback without even like one camp, right?
And he gets $10 million.
So, like, who's the backup here, right? I don't even know. They got rid of Trubisky.
Is Foles still around?
Oh, I guess maybe that's – wow, and that guy, how quickly was that guy denigrated, huh?
That's kind of the story of his career, right? Up and down and
yeah, never, great, always a great backup, never a great starter.
I guess he's still there because this article is asking where he fits in with the Bears going forward. Another former Dolphin here. They seem to be all over the place. Damian Williams signs a one-year deal. Franchise tag Allen Robinson, stud.
Good player, yeah.
Yeah. Few re-signings. Detroit Lions.
Wow. Jared Goff, man. I'm not really excited about that move.
So they got him in a trade with the Rams along with a 2021 third-round pick and first-round picks 2022 and 2023 for Stafford. So, a lot of people, when they looked at this trade, they thought cost-cutting move, maybe. You're getting extra picks. Stafford hadn't been winning you anything, really. If we look at it in a vacuum, yes, Stafford's better than Goff, but Stafford's older.
Yep.
You're getting some picks. You're unloading that contract. Stafford's making a lot of money.
Yep.
I don't know, dude. It doesn't seem that terrible to me, the move. If you're talking wins and losses, yeah.
Probably from a short-term plan. It's probably a good move for the Rams, but in a long-term view, this is probably better for the Lions, right?
Yeah, and by the way, you got Tim Boyle, backup quarterback here, who I've never heard of. Just in case.
You gotta like a Boyle at quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Timmy. Charles Harris.
Wow. That was one of our first-round picks one year.
Wow.
Let's not talk about that.
Look at the Packers, dude, doing absolutely nothing.
Well, they basically re-signed Aaron Jones and restructured Derek Rodgers. I mean, not Derek Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers, sorry.
Derek Rodgers was former bum linebacker for the Dolphins, by the way. But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. Hey. I saw Aaron Jones, Aaron Rodgers, re-signing them.
Tank asked me an interesting question the other day on the show, and I thought it was especially interesting coming from him. He said, who do you think's going to fucking play longer, Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers? I'll pose the same question to you.
Wow. What kind of a lead does Brady have already, though? A lot, right?
No. I mean, in real time, who do you think's going to retire first? Do you think it's possible Aaron Rodgers retires before Tom Brady?
I could see that. I mean, but if you look at strictly on the age factor, obviously you would bet on Brady retiring first. But
He just re-signed like 2 years, right? 2 or 3 years.
I know, but it would be tough. How old is Rodgers? Is he 40?
No.
Exactly.
But I thought it was an interesting question because
it
wouldn't fucking shock me either.
No, it wouldn't, because he's kind of a nutty guy.
Yeah, I don't like. I wouldn't put it past that guy to like retire. I mean, he is 37.
Oh, but yeah, what?
That's old for a quarterback, dude.
I know, but now in this time of the Drew Brees and the Peyton Mannings and the Bradys that play well into 40s, he's still doing pretty good.
Yeah. All right, not a lot of action there. Let's move on to the Vikings.
Yeah. Not a lot of action here either.
No. I'm seeing backup running back. I'm seeing a guy who may not make the team.
But, I'm
seeing a former special teamer from the Dolphins.
You look at they got that guy, that great wide receiver, the rookie, what's his name? Jefferson?
Yep.
They got Adam
Thielen.
I'm losing my feeling with Adam Thielen, and then they got the great running back. So, I mean, they're
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook, their quarterback's really, kissing cousins is the issue there. But aside from that, that's a pretty good offense.
Was Patrick Peterson there last year?
I think he's still there, and they're trying to make him play safety, and he's furious, and he said he won't play safety.
They just signed him though. Jesus, I didn't have that on my radar. If I'm going to be honest, I didn't realize he was there last year, and that's embarrassing to say. No, he's just got signed there.
Yeah, I guess they're already asking him to play safety, and he's pissed.
Who's the coach there? Good old Dan Campbell's the coach there, right?
At the Vikings?
I'm sorry, he's at the Lions.
They have the old guy here, Reimers. What's his name?
Let's look this up. Jesus Christ, this is
the old guy.
Am
I the old guy?
Yeah, you're the old guy tonight. And thank you.
Reimers. Mike.
Who the fuck is the
Mike?
Bud Grant.
No, that was the original coach.
Norm Van Brocklin.
They went to 4 Super Bowls with that guy.
Mike Zimmer still there?
Yeah, Mike Zimmer.
Oh, okay. Wow, I'm surprised that guy's still there. Bum, I'm going to let you talk about the Falcons. I got to go drain the old lizard real quick.
Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, so the Falcons, another team in transition, not a lot of movement here. They did sign Mike Davis. That guy was a really good backup last year, but they've had issue filling that running back spot since they lost Devante. A lot of people thought they were going to move one of their wide receivers, specifically Julio Jones. It looks like they haven't done that. They are a team in transition. A lot of people think that at some point they got to make a move on the quarterback position, as Matty Ice is getting old, so they have to find something to do there. Aside from that, not a lot of activity for the Falcons.
Now, I do like this guy's name at linebacker, Barcavius Mingo.
Yeah, that guy's been around a lot.
But yeah, they're not making my toes tingle either. Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, they lost Curtis Samuel. They lost Mike Davis, who went to the Falcons. We were just talking about him. He's a very good backup.
Oh, that guy is solid, dude.
And now, a lot of people think they're going to be looking for a quarterback. The Teddy Bridgewater experiment didn't necessarily pay off. So this may be another team in transition, right?
Well, what are we looking at if McCaffrey can't come back there, dude? Because it's not Miles Davis, because that was a jazz singer, but Mike Davis filled in nicely,
more than nicely.
Yeah, I had him on the fantasy, luckily, to kind of fill in on those days, which seemed like the whole year that McCaffrey couldn't play.
I think he only play like 3 or 4 games?
May have just played like 2 or 3 games.
Yeah. That's
not
tough.
Miles Davis, Mike Davis. Dude.
Mike Davis. But I think...
Who's better, Mike Davis or Miles Davis?
It depends what instrument they're playing. But I think McCaffrey may have played 2 or 3 games, man.
Well, Mike started 12. He got 642 yards, 3.9 average. I thought he did better than that, to be honest with you. He did have 59 catches for 373.
Yeah, but how many touchdowns did he have?
He had 6 on the ground, 2 in the air.
Yeah, that's not bad. 8.
Yeah, it's okay.
For a guy you picked up off the scrap heap, I assume that was more than good.
Yeah. McCaffrey played 3 games last year, dude.
Incredible.
He did have 225 yards in those 3 games on the ground, 150 in the air. He killed my fantasy season. Yeah, dude, I'm not really feeling this team or their
direction.
Moves. Yeah. Saints, definitely a new era with Drew Brees' retirement. Re-signed Winston. You still got the Swiss Army knife out there.
Yeah, Alvin Kamara. You still have Michael Thomas. They did lose Emmanuel Sanders. They lost Jared Cook. So not sure what they're going to really look like in the future here. Yeah. This team could really kind of bottom out if it isn't for their coach who keeps them, afloat, because they've had some key losses.
As much as I probably don't like that guy personally sometimes, yeah, he's a pretty fucking good coach.
Yeah, he is.
And, God damn it, the fucking Buccaneers. Re-signed Fournette, franchise tagged Godwin, re-signed Gronk. I guess they re-signed Indomnik, Sue. Obviously, it's not here, but they extended Brady. Shaquille Barrett.
They just kind of kept things going, right?
Yeah, re-signed their kicker. And who, let's see who they draft. Fuck, man. Are they going to be back in the Super Bowl?
I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Let's move on. Cardinals.
Aj Green.
Is that real?
Yeah. He's matched up opposite side of
I thought he retired.
No.
Oh wow, I was so mistaken about that. I thought he was retiring. He just moved on from the Bengals.
I can't think. DeAndre Hopkins. Sorry. Wow. I'm really messed up. Yeah, he's opposite him, and they did lose Kenyon Drake, but man, that running back, what is it, Edmonds?
Yep.
I think that guy's going to be really good.
And they still have Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald, I believe so.
And look who they signed, dude. Malcolm Butler.
And Matt Prater.
But they lost.
Oh, and J.J. Watt. Look at that.
$23 million guaranteed on a 2-year deal. This team, I feel, underachieved last year.
Yep, I would say so.
Rams got Stafford, signed Deshaun Jackson. You know who Deshaun Jackson is becoming for me? Old Deshaun Jackson is becoming old Santana Moss for me.
I'll tell you what, though. This guy still
can run, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's always a game where he catches a ball where there's no one near him and no one could catch him, and he's like 89 years old. I don't get it.
It's like that old speed, kind of like Mark Duper, Woody Galt maybe had it too. There's some of those dudes that just have
Cliff Branch.
Yeah, like old man speed. I mean, he's 34 years old, dude. Look at the average yards per catch.
But you talk about an injury-prone player. This guy's been injury-prone.
I mean, yeah, he hasn't played a full season since 2000. He played one. He's played one in his career.
That's amazing.
8 years ago. Other than that, it's been always less. But look at the average. Every year he's averaged, we're in that 17.4 career average range. So, yeah, amazing. He's still a deep threat. But not a lot of action.
Is Leonard Floyd the person who killed somebody in a car one time?
I am not sure who Leonard Floyd is. That is a helicopter. That
was close, man.
Yeah, that was right overhead.
Is that a military helicopter?
It's possible. I'm near Homestead Air Force Base. Not near, but they're not too far. Could be. Here's the Niners.
I don't know. And they gave up their next few drafts to the Miami Dolphins. And
yeah, I don't get that for them, dude. I don't get it.
And then the Miami Dolphins said, "Oh my God, we have so many picks. Let's fuck this up."
Oh my God, yes. Let's pay it forward. Let's give this to somebody else. What's up with Garoppolo, dude? There was talk of him and the fucking Patriots, right?
Let's face it, right? The move that they did with the Miami Dolphins is to get a quarterback, right? They're moving.
What are you doing with Garoppolo?
Well, that's like if you don't get your guy at number 3, but for you to give up a king's ransom to move up to the number 3 spot, you got to be looking for one of the quarterbacks there.
How do you go from Super Bowl to
giving up your draft for a quarterback?
Got to replace you so fast. How does that happen, dude?
It's the old "what have you done for me lately" mentality.
I mean, this guy has a career rating of almost 100. 98.9. He's got his record is 24-8.
24-8. Wow. I thought it would have been worse than that.
I mean, that's on the strength of a 13-3 season, And then, he was 2-0 with the Pats, 5-0 his first year. But damn, dude, they make these decisions quickly nowadays, dude.
Yeah, there's no patience.
Next up is the Seahawks, and talking to quarterbacks, there's been a lot of grumblings about Russell Wilson.
How did that make sense? I didn't follow that to any detail. I mean, I heard that he was in the mix and that he was possibly going to the Bears. But what happened that they would even consider that? What was the issue there?
I think the fact that they're probably not going to be real contenders, and that guy wants to win. I mean, that's still flying around, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's settled itself, but wow, that's kind of surprising.
Not a lot of major moves here either.
No, they did a lot of re-signing. Chris Carson, obviously a good back. They re-signed him. Gerald Everett, tight end from the Rams that they brought over. Carlos Dunlap is good, but aside from that,
I think that's the whole NFL.
Holy Toledo.
Let me check my notes here. What else? What else you got, dude?
Just the fact that the next thing is obviously the draft. There's been movement already.
When is the draft?
Some more movement. End of April.
Okay.
So, that fills in the next part of the equation, right? There'll probably be a few more trades maybe or pickups, but for the most part, it's going to be, draft central. Man, I hope the Dolphins could get some really good players that make a difference and are just not good.
Yeah, that draft is going to be the key for us, I think. Sorry, go ahead.
We didn't talk too much about the Patriots in the sense that, I guess right now they're the winners of the off seasons, which the Dolphins were many a times and never really got anywhere. But they seem to have spent the most money and kind of brought in as a lot of players. So is that going to pay out? That is uncharacteristic of them. So we'll have to see if that really pays dividends for them.
Give me your prediction on the Patriots record this year.
Wow, without a preseason game or anything, huh?
Or a draft or anything. Just fucking off the cuff.
I think they may position themselves again to be like second in the division, especially if we don't improve a lot. I mean, I understand we beat them or we split with them again. But based on the talent that they've added, I would expect them to, not knowing what we're going to do yet, based on what they've done already, I would think they'd be challenging for the division again. I don't think they'll beat Buffalo, but.
Give me a record.
I don't know, 10-6?
Okay. I had 9-7. I did estimate them last year. I thought they were going to be better, but I do think that COVID thing hurt them last year.
And they're getting a lot of those people back.
Yeah, not only that, I think that hurt them, the guys that sat out, but also, they got like a breakout in the facility, and they had to postpone those games. Cam Newton got it. I think that was kind of the beginning of the end of their 2020 season. I never like to give them credit, but I have to. I thought that really fucking hurt them.
Yeah, you know what I was surprised about them too, that they use Cam Newton the way that they did, really heavy run. I was surprised they used them like that. I thought that they would be more of a balanced team or try to make them a balanced team, and they really leaned on that. And I think Cam's of an age now that's probably not a good thing for him.
Yeah, those days have passed. Quick message from the sponsor of the show real quick here. Got a couple items back here from Man of Action Figures that I want to show off. We got a Thor Bring Arts figure. This is from the Marvel Universe. Bring Arts Thor. What else do I have? I showed the Catwoman in the previous video. I've got this is the Christian Bale Batman from the Dark Knight trilogy. Have you seen the Snyder Cut, by the way?
I have not.
I've heard a lot of good things. No, I haven't yet. This is obviously from the Nolan trilogy. We got Batman, Christian Bale.
Would you say that's your favorite DC up to now?
Movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I really like the Batman trilogy. We got a few other things, by the way. Check them out, manofactionfigures.com on South Dixie Highway. Yeah, the Batman trilogy, it seemed to get progressively better for me. Even though, most people say the Joker, the movie with the Joker in it was the best. Yes, it was really good. But dude, the one with Bane was really fucking good for me too.
Yeah, I would have to say those Christopher Nolan Batmans, and then maybe the Joker, the modern Joker with Joaquin Phoenix.
I haven't even seen that one. I was referring to rest in peace, Heath Ledger.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah. No, I was looking at those movies as three whole movies, and then looking at the recent Joker as kind of number two from a DC perspective, right?
I have to watch that movie. I'm ashamed to say with that business that I haven't seen it. I've fallen into a trap where my children are too small. I only watch movies with my children. I don't watch a lot of the movies. We started to watch a lot of the Marvel ones recently, revisit those. They just watched a lot of the Captain America. We're kind of doing the whole thing in order now. So we started with Captain America, which is the first one you should watch, the original Captain America. Yeah. And then you should watch Captain Marvel is the next one, if you do it chronologically, that you should watch.
Not the Iron Man first?
No, that is the one who kicked off the MCU. Well, actually, Hulk, the first Hulk with, I think, Eric Bana? No, not Eric Bana. He did do a Hulk, but the one with Norton is
Edward Norton.
Norton is really the first movie in the MCU. But Iron Man is the real, heavy hitter one that kicked it off. But really, if you're going to watch it in order, the first two you should watch, and if you're doing it chronologically by year, is the first Avenger, because that's like World War II era. And then after that comes Captain Marvel. And then I think Iron Man comes after that.
I haven't seen Captain Marvel.
No, me either. We're going to watch it tomorrow night. It's like a young Nick Fury is on that. They use that, I don't know what you call it, de-aging technology where he's like a young man in the movie. But as far as DC goes, yeah, I do like those Batman. The first one is pretty good too with Ra's al Ghul and all that. But I like the Joker one better, and I love Bane. Even though fanboys complain, you should have had a bigger Bane, but I thought he was great, dude. Really good.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah, solid.
Good actor.
Yeah, and then my favorite movie that he's in is Fury Road.
Yeah,
love that movie. I saw that again not too long ago. Fucking love it, dude. Non-stop action, dude. Non-stop action.
And well, you've kind of run the gamut tonight there, buddy. You've gone from, death to football to movies. You covered a lot of ground here.
I mean, we haven't even gotten into any conspiracies. That's the only thing left. I'll ask you, are you excited for any information coming out about aliens?
I have been keeping an eye on that because, as you know, that's one of the conspiracies that I am not 0% on, to quote a former member of the team or sabbatical version of the team.
He'll be back next week. Or he's fired, so we don't fucking know.
Is he coming back next week?
Or he's fired.
Okay.
One of the two. We'll see.
So
his choice.
I read something that
love you highly.
That there was somebody that was saying basically that this is going to be the most revealing sets of information that they've ever released on this. We'll see. I've heard that before.
It seems like it's the fucking proverbial carrot always, dude, or distraction, or...
Yeah. It seems there's no doubt that they've been a little bit more open about saying there are things that they have seen that they cannot explain.
And that seems odd.
Yes, because
you make yourself vulnerable, right?
Yes. Well, supposedly a lot of the government people used to say that they would never admit that because if it was some earthly bound enemy, that would be an admission of, oh, we got you,
Right.
But maybe they've decided that it isn't an earthly bound enemy, and so they got nothing to lose by saying that.
Yeah, I mean, the best case scenario for me would be if you could say we've put ourselves out there by saying, yeah, here's this dude, Commander Fravor, and he doesn't know what this is, and his superiors don't know what this is, and our government doesn't know what this is. Hey, Russia, do you also have, because as much as I love conspiracies, I do not know a lot about what the big conspiracy theories are in Russia, what the big conspiracy theories are in China. You know what I mean? So I know Roswell, moon landing, JFK, 9/11. I'm into those, right? So what are the big ones in China? What are the big ones in Russia? Maybe Russia will say, you know what? We've seen a fucking bunch of shit too, and we don't know what it is. Okay, let's form a new world order. No, let's collaborate.
Compare notes.
Yeah, what the fuck is this, man? Let's find out.
Yeah.
But if they don't come together, then that leads me more to believe, man, that's something they got that we don't got.
Right.
And maybe we're not as advanced as we think we are. And if they have this shit that we can't even fucking compare to or identify, then Jesus Christ, dude, we're kind of fucked anyways.
Yeah, and it may be that they are all paralyzed by that thought of each other, right?
Maybe we've thrown that first card out. We're like, hey, dude, we need some help too.
The fact that they each think that it may be, their enemies and not an alien, but yet they don't want to recognize it. They don't want to underlie it because it shows vulnerability on their end. So maybe that's why they kind of stand pat there. There's a lot of competing situations in this whole alien topic thing,
Yeah, but it does seem like we're kind of throwing that, like we're opening that dialogue, so to speak, like we're not fucking sure, dude. These things are flying over our installations, these things are flying over military installations. We've seen these things, It definitely would be a time for other governments to be like, yes, me too. If there ever was one,
Yeah.
Let's work together. Let's find out what this is.
Yeah. No, I agree, but that's probably not how the world works, though, right?
No, but the world would normally work by them not saying that, right? We at least have open.
Yeah, they've come a long way from the sense of always denying it.
Even though it's not a full-blown denial, right? It's more like
right. There's no evidence. So we think it's this. We think it's that. We think it's explainable.
Yeah, that's coming up in the summer, supposedly, when they open up those files. Hey, did you know, before we go, I'm hitting back on a couple of my non-football notes here. By the way, tomorrow is Earth Hour, March 27th, which is already today, from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. I'm going to practice it myself. You're supposed to like not turn on your lights and shit like that for 1 hour.
Wow. I was not familiar with Earth Hour.
Yeah, Earth Hour, March 27th, 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to participate, just shut it all down for an hour. I'm going to try to do it. We'll see what happens. It's supposed to help the Earth. Did you know male virginity is on the rise?
Male virginity. I did not know that. What facts do we have around that?
Well, I don't have a lot of facts. All I have, I can try to look up some numbers.
And how did this happen?
Well, if I start to analyze this, I would think, you're a little bit older than me, but we kind of have probably similar upbringing and stuff.
Yeah.
I would think though the difference, let's compare our eras, right? Ours to the current modern era. In our era, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have, and it's a double-edged sword too when you think about it. I mean, you could literally get pussy on an app right now. You just go, swipe, meet. It's probably never been easier than it is today to get laid. But I think the ease of porn probably has something to do with it. If I were to fucking guess, there's probably never been an ease. I remember porn being an ordeal.
But what are you saying there? That a lot of people have given up getting the real thing because of the ease of those things?
Yeah.
Wow. I got to tell you, and maybe it's my era, but I wouldn't have never given up the real thing for, let's put it this way. The porn was a backup to the real thing and not the other way around.
Well, with this study, which I don't have offhand, you can Google it on your own time, leads you to believe is that there seems to be a disinterest among young people, well, males in this case, from trying to get laid.
Wow, that's shocking.
Because they're doing other things, and the ease of porn maybe leading them that way. That's the only way I can fucking explain it.
Well, going back to what you sort of blurted out, and I have to agree with you, there was a time where porn was very difficult to get.
Let me ask you this question. Why, and I know a little bit about, how other people got their hands on it and stuff like that.
So to speak.
Yeah. Double-edged. Yeah, two-fisted situation there. Pun unintended, but intended. But there always seemed to be like a place where you would go. I don't know if this holds true for you. And they were like buried somewhere. There was always like a stash that somebody had buried somewhere. Or it was always like in the woods or something. Why was that always the case with everybody?
Well, it slowly kind of got out of the darkness, right? So I remember the boom of the video cassette era where, you had the beaded curtain where in the back,
I talked about that last episode with Blockbuster. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah. Blockbuster didn't have that. That was the change.
No, it was the little places.
Right. The mom and
pops that had, you'd go through the curtain and it was, wow. And the covers were pretty explicit, so you know straight where to go. But before that, a lot of that stuff was on like 16 millimeter film. I remember my grandfather gave me some 16 millimeter film.
Well, you had to have a projector for that?
You had a projector. I mean, They were called stag films.
You had to have a fucking movie theater.
And it was, you know, the
keep talking.
quality,
I'm just putting my phone to charge. Keep talking.
Yeah, the quality and the technology were pretty freaking lacking. That's for sure. And to your point, it was sort of like an ordeal. You know, it wasn't an easy thing.
I remember
it wasn't until probably the VHS and the beta and all that, the videotapes, that it became a little easier.
I remember there being a tree at the local park that I basically grew up in, and like up in that tree, there was like a part of the tree that was like you could hang out in that section, you know, like it was a really big tree, so you could climb up into that area, and in that area there was like a shitload of porno magazines for whatever reason. And then also like buried, I don't know why they were always buried in another park. There was like an area that had them too.
Well, and that's you bring up another good point. There was a time that it wasn't movies or videotapes. It was magazines and pictures. And I remember growing up, it was a lot of like playing cards. Yeah, like playing cards. There were a lot of playing cards that had like, you know, pornography on it, and pens that you would like turn and the woman's clothes would come off.
And then there was drawings before that, obviously.
Yeah, but initially it was a lot of magazines.
Yeah, magazine was the
They always had great names, you know, Swank, Jugs, Blondes and Mules, you know, just really.
Oh yeah, you're getting into the lower end. You know, obviously Playboy and Hustler were the main.
Sure.
But those were like the classic
Penthouse.
Yeah.
Penthouse, Hustler, Playboy.
Playboy was like the classiest. And then
yeah, all the other ones I mentioned always had like a guy with a ski mask and a girl.
And people would trade those around like illicit. I just remember situations where like somebody got a girlfriend or something, and like, can you hang on to these for me? And they would bring you like a box of.
I do remember that there was like this lack. I don't know if it was an etiquette or a lack of etiquette, where if you ever lent out a videotape of porn to somebody, like they would never give it back to you.
No, that was pretty standard though. Yeah, like whatever.
It disappeared. It was
yeah. But the more formal one was like, I just got a girlfriend, and you know they entrusted their collection to you, and there was more of a gentleman's agreement there. Like, you know, one day I'm gonna break up with this girl, and you know I'm gonna need to have these back. You know, and then there was more respect around that.
Yeah, I don't remember ever doing that
particular
scenario, but I do remember like either trading or trying to exchange, and then somebody always kept all the shit on their side, always.
Yeah.
Hey, what happened to Tony? He kept all of our shit. You know, it was like, whatever.
Haven't seen him around in those VHS
days. And it would always be, nobody had like the guts to try to fight and reclaim it, because you know you weren't standing on high moral ground. So hey,
exactly.
Dude, can you give me my copy of, you know, midgets and dildos or whatever? You know, it was like,
yeah, you couldn't really complain to anybody about that of any authority, you know, like, you know, hey, Billy copied my term paper, you know, you couldn't really like come to any person with any authority. By the way, just hitting a couple more notes here before we get the fuck out of here that I had jotted down. Alcohol sales fell for the first time since the pandemic started. Wow. This month. What do you make of that?
That's kind of shocking.
Is
because I would have thought that alcohol sales would have broken all kinds of records in the last year and a half. Easily.
But they did. They did. But this month is the first month that they dipped down. So we had been, since the pandemic started, every month going up, and then it kind of makes sense. People started to get vaccinated. States started to open up.
Go back to work.
Yeah, so now, maybe the edge is off.
Yeah.
A little bit. I'll be the first to say that I've gotten more into, and I don't want to, not that I'm a drunk, but I've gotten more into drinking than I've ever been in the last year. And some of it has to do with collecting and trying different things, not getting ripped every day, that.
Sure. No, that would be just unacceptable.
I've done that before, but not now. But I can almost get it how I gotta tell you, dude, I thought, fuck, dude, opening a liquor store in the last year was probably a good move. If you wanted to do a business venture and you had the capital and the means and the time,
sure,
probably, not a bad move if you got in that game in the last year.
Yeah, no doubt. And
May 13th, it's around my birthday, is National Cocktail Day. Have you ever heard of that?
Cocktail Day? No, I have not. I thought that was kind of all the time, so maybe
you've been celebrating it all the time.
I thought so.
That's what you're saying.
That may have been. I have heard of the largest cocktail party, outside cocktail party, but
is that the Catalina wine mixer?
No, that's the Georgia-Florida game.
Oh, look at that. Have you heard of the Miami Waldorf Astoria?
I've heard of the Waldorf Astoria. I don't remember.
And that's in New York, right?
Don't they have one in Chicago and one in New York?
I think they have them, around. Look at this thing, dude. This is coming to Brickell area.
Oh, I saw a picture of this, but I didn't know it was a Waldorf.
Yeah. What's the first thing you think when you see this rendering?
It looks like something that was poorly made.
It looks like something Bruno made with his Legos.
Yes.
My son.
Yes.
And then my first thought is, I don't want to see what happens when the first hurricane comes.
Yeah. I mean, that looks like haphazardly built.
We're starting off at $1 million for a condo there.
Wow.
And I think the association is in the thousands.
And I was worried about 350,000.
Yes. Jump on that.
Wow. So have you kept up with the whole spring breaker debacle and the curfews and the shutdowns of Miami? I mean, I've heard about them, but I haven't gotten really into a lot of detail about them.
I know it's been wild. I know they've implemented an 8 p.m. Curfew. I know they pepper sprayed some people. And I knew by working in the beach previously that thing was getting out of hand, dude. It's just there's only so much real estate. There's only so many hotels. There's only so many clubs. And then it just every year it's more and more people. And this pandemic thing where people had pent up, there's pent up vacation demand. There's pent up young people wanting to go get fucked demand, which contradicts my earlier comment on male virginity. But that's among youths. I have to specify.
Yeah.
On youths. Obviously, youths,
yeah,
also known as youths. It's bound to happen, right? Like, fuck, so many people want to come party. Eventually, there's not enough room for you people, dude. There were stories of women with their poontang pie out on top of cars and shit like that.
Yeah, I heard about 2 guys that raped some chick and she died later or something like that.
Jesus.
But they say this real estate boom is also tied to this the exodus of a lot
California?
of these, California, New York, a lot of these very restrictive locations have had an exodus, high taxes, terrible living conditions, less services. A lot of these places have been kind of, the residents have been leaving and they've been coming down for a lot of them. They've been coming down to Florida and Texas.
Yeah, Texas and Florida have been overrun by refugees, dude. Let's call it what it is. That basically is what there is, dude.
Yeah.
They're leaving. I don't want to say oppressive, but locked down states where their rights have been, in many cases, diminished, and they just want to go back to regular shit. And what's worse than having your rights diminished and then you have to pay way more than other people do,
and you're physically unsafe, right? It's unsafe. You feel less safe being in those places. You're paying for more everything, and you feel like your life is worse and you're unsafe. That's the worst combination.
Yeah, high taxes, bums outside your street. No offense. And you got to pay for it too.
Yeah. That's a tough combination.
And then, the thing you think about is don't fucking turn Texas into that, dude. Don't all of you fuckers leave from California and go to Texas and then make Texas California. Right?
Yeah.
Don't bring your California to Texas. That's I think, I don't know if that's the exact saying, but that's a saying they have, don't try to California my Texas, because Texas is fucking awesome, dude. I could see myself living in Texas,
Yeah, and then when you look at other states that have been less restrictive, us being one of them, and in comparison to some of these other states have been more restrictive, I mean, who's really doing better? And it kind of looks like in a lot of those scenarios, maybe that was overreach and not very good.
Yeah. Do you feel like we're getting back to normal?
As long as I gotta wear a mask, I get tested. For me, compared to, let's say, May or March of last year, it feels a lot more along, but I can't say it feels like it's normal still. I mean, traditionally by this time I would be going out on my first vacation of the year. Typically we did a spring break, a summer, and maybe a winter vacation. We haven't done that really. So there's a lot of things that still don't make it feel like things are back to normal.
Have you gone out and you forgot your mask?
No, though at work when I leave my office, in my office I don't have to wear my mask obviously, but I rushed out of my office forgetting my mask, and I got to go back because you're not allowed to not be outside of your office without a mask. But
That's happened to me more recently.
Yeah, there hasn't been a time where, when I know that I'm going to go somewhere public, whether it's a supermarket or something like that, I haven't ran into an issue there. But
yeah, that's happened to me a couple times lately, which subconsciously makes me feel like, I think in my mind at least, I feel like we're getting back to normal. But I mean, what the fuck is normal anyways, right?
Yeah, may not be, what would really suck, I think, if we're going to be, with the flu, you have a shot every year, and if you take it, it's your choice, and you may or may not get sick. But this thing seems to be pretty aggressive, and I just hope that we don't have to get a shot every day or every year just to secure ourselves. That would suck.
But it certainly seems like that's what's going to happen, right?
Based on the way this thing is behaving, it seems like that may be very probable.
It's going to happen, right?
Yeah, I hope not.
Yeah, we'll see. It was one of those 9/11 type events. It's going to change shit forever, dude.
It is.
I don't think we'll ever go back to pre.
Yeah, this will be written into the history books as a significant time in history, and it's tough to comprehend that because you're living through it, but it's going to be.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of things we say down the line. Well, yeah, that started in the pandemic era. Oh, that's COVID. That's a COVID thing.
Yeah.
Oh, why do we do that? Oh, because of COVID. That's, you know what I mean?
I just hope that this isn't like it actually sort of leaves and we're sort of done with it, but that's not how it feels like it's going to be. That worries me.
Dude, and think about the next one, dude. It's not going to be the last.
Well, and that's the other thing. These are things that people predicted before they happened. And, that prediction didn't really help us to get advanced or move ahead of it in any way.
It's kind of like my last episode with this beautiful young lady who is a funeral director, and she's talked about prepare, nobody prepares for that, really, dude. Who prepares for that,
Well, it's got to be those preppers that are really.
I mean, I'm talking about death.
Stuff. Oh.
It's kind of the same ball game, right? Like, you're going to die, but who really prepares for that,
Yeah.
And we do know that there's going to be another one, but I don't know. Are they going to prepare for that? Do we even know what it's going to be? Do we know?
And could our world, our economy, our mental status handle another one of these?
Imagine if this shit was really deadly, dude. If
it
was
like Ebola?
Yeah, like you get sick and you're probably going to die.
Yeah.
That would have been fucking million times worse. All right, dude. I think we've covered
we ended up back where we started with death, right?
Yeah. Let's not fucking die before we finish the show. Thank you to anybody who watched. Thank you to anybody watching on the replay. Like and subscribe. Thanks, Mom, for joining me tonight. Shout out to the boys taking some time off. And any parting thoughts?
I'll let you know if I find a condo tomorrow.
I'll take the first reservation.
Yeah.
I'll be there. I'll be there with my whatever bottle I've been saving of bourbon. I'll be there to crack it. Let's put it that way.
That sounds good.
When we close the deal. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.